Welcome to this week's episode. It feels a bit hard to make a video after last week's episode was about our child being born. It's pretty hard to make a more interesting video, I think. I'm gonna try nonetheless. I'm in Biarritz. It's one of the last days of the holidays, so we took the kids and my mother, who's on visit, and wanna go see the aquarium. And right now I'm in what's the old harbor. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, the last week was pretty much about spending time as a family together, getting used to the new situation, and we also found the time for a couple of smaller side projects, and you'll see what they are. And in the end, I might have found a new hobby, which is pretty cool. I hope you enjoy this. Let's go. A little project I want to do is to make some bedside tables, because we don't have that. And I've got these leftover pieces, which are pretty much 20 by 40 centimeters. So I'm gonna build something very, very simple out of those. It's not the most beautiful thing I ever built, but I think as a side table for the bed, they're quite okay. I'm gonna build a couple because, we can also use them as small stools to sit on the floor, or as a little table when we often eat up there in the room on the floor, and then it's nice to have a little table. So I'll make a couple of these whenever I have leftover wood that kind of fits. So this is the view out my window, and I want it to be like this. So what I need to do, or want to do rather, as another side project, is to build a little platform over here in order for the desk and the chair to be just about 20 centimeters higher. And then it would be perfect for the view. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm just editing the video, and I put all the footage together from when I built these platforms that I'm actually sitting on right now. And it was about half an hour, because I explained everything in full detail. And I thought to myself, you're probably not here to see that. If you are, then comment. If you want this kind of content where I explain everything that I built in more detail, maybe I'll do some videos like that. But I'm not expecting that. So instead, I'm going to show you what I built and just put a little bit of footage from the build inside. So the platform I made is here. And as you can see, first off, it's about 20 centimeters high. Actually, a little bit more, because I used the 20 centimeter wide floorboards and have that as a height, plus then 2 centimeters of thickness on top. And I wanted them to go this way. I wanted to have them in two parts. So that's why each of these is made out of boards that are about 1 meter long. And then there's an edge. And the edge is just there to make it look nicer. It's not for any kind of functionality. Why did I make two pieces? There's a couple of reasons. One is, already as they are now, they're super heavy because it's all solid wood. And I want to have the possibility to put this platform away if we use this room for something else, like group activities or something in the future. Who knows? And to put away it in one piece would be pretty much impossible. So I made it in two pieces for that reason, but also in two pieces if you want to use them for something else that's obviously easier if you have this flexibility. So you could use them as a stage or as 2 individual bed cases, for example. I made them so that they fit a mattress. I also made them a size where our bed, which I built a couple of weeks back and which is pretty low, can sit on top of these. Yeah, so that's the basic thought behind these. I went through all of the wood and looked at which of the boards look nice and which of the boards have defects that you see from above, and then decided which wood to use where. So for these 1 meter pieces, my biggest concern was that they don't have holes that go through, and in the sides that's not such a big problem. And then for the edge pieces, I tried to find some that have some nice grain. And you can see in this one, for example, I don't know what happened to the tree in this year, but it just looks nice, and it had this twice in the wood, so I could use that to make this frame kind of symmetric, which I think looks nice. Yeah, so that's the reasoning behind these platforms. After these projects, which were basically for me and my wife, it was time for a project for my daughter, and it was to build a Barbie house. When we went away for France and packed everything, my daughter wanted to take her Barbie house with her. However, this is made out of plastic and has been broken a couple of times actually, and it would have been really, really hard to take it, and it would also have taken up a lot of space. But she really, really wanted to take it along, and so we thought about something that we could do to make it easier for her, and I promised her once we were in France that we could build a Barbie house together, maybe from bamboo, which we have a lot of in the garden. And at first she wasn't convinced, but after a while she kind of became fond of the idea. So she emptied her beloved Barbie house, put all the stuff in small containers, and we took it to France. And then there was never really the time to build that Barbie house, and now that the baby was born and we had a couple of days off, I thought now is really the time to get this project going. And we started off by trying to build it out of bamboo, but we quickly realized that that would be kind of difficult. And she decided that all she really wanted was a very simple structure that she could then fill with the stuff for the Barbie. So in the end, I tried to build this with her together, and we built a very simple, it's basically a shelf. And we did that in one day, and then she painted it the other day, which was pretty cool that she could kind of do this for herself, by herself, with a little bit of help. She's happy with it, and now she can play with this, and that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, I have taken the bridge built by Eiffel to this viewpoint, which is pretty cool. And from here, you can not only look out over the ocean, but you also have a pretty cool view of the Grand Plage and the lighthouse. And in the other direction, we have Spain and the Plage Basque, where a lot of the surfers are, but not right now because it's high tide and also the waves aren't that big. It's pretty windy out here. I hope you can still hear me. The last project of the week was something I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is make a tree wrap, but I'll let myself explain in the garden what all of this is about. We have a lot of large trees in this garden and a lot of points where you could look into the landscape if you were a bit higher up. Like in this area, for example, where we want to have a terrace. I think it would be super cool to have like a kind of upper floor for the terrace between these trees. But there's other spots as well where that would be nice. And as a gift for the kids, I said at Christmas that this spring we're gonna try to build a Treenet. And I got the idea from another YouTube channel, Preston Goes, which I strongly recommend. It's a lot of fun, and he did a video where he went to somebody, I think it's called Charlie's Webs, which is another YouTube channel again, who does tree nets. And what you need is some rope, thicker rope, to make like an edge, and then this paracord, fairly thin, to make the net itself. And I thought we'd just try that, and maybe if it's something that is fun to do and nice to use, then we could do that in a couple of spots here in the garden between the large trees. So one potential spot would be here. I think it would be nicer to have like a stable platform later on, but we could just start here. But we might have some heavy machinery here when we do the sewage system, so I don't think we're gonna do a test run here. There's also that large tree back there, which would be pretty cool, but it has these small animals that make this, I don't know what they're called, I'll look it up and put it in the comments. But anyway, you can get strong allergic reactions to these animals. And then up here in the upper part of the garden, we have a lot of trees where this would be possible. So one spot would be to do it up here where the car park is. There's 4 or 5 big trees. But then also we have this area with these large oak trees. And I think maybe that's where we'll start, with a platform down here, which would be pretty big. And we could work on the ground, and then we could later maybe add another platform. We'll see. We'll see how it goes and how long it takes and how much material we need, because it's not cheap. So we'll see. That's the plan for today. Okay, step 1 is to make a perimeter, like a rope that goes once around all these 3 trees, and then we have to tie it really tight. When the perimeter was up, we trained the knots a little and then started with what's called the insanity or random method, and you can find lots of tutorials online. It's pretty straightforward. This is how far we got in maybe 2-3 hours with a break. The kids have lost the interest after a while. I think they'll come back, but it's not easy with the knots. And it's working quite okay. We kind of have a net already. Overall, I'm surprised at how straightforward this process is. We'll see how comfortable it is later. So I got to admit that this could become a new hobby of mine, making tree nets or tree webs. It's pretty awesome to do that. Next week will be very different because we have 2 workaways who are there from Monday. We have another friend coming who will join us and help us. So we have a lot of people helping us. And the school starts again. So that's going to be a big challenge for the kids to readapt to going to school all day, not seeing the baby, not spending time with us all the time. But I think they'll manage. It's getting dark much later now, so after school we still have time to do some activities, which I think is good. And yeah, with the workforce, so to say, I hope that we'll make big progress in the kitchen in the coming week. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you a very good time, a nice week ahead. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.